Welcome back. Got a fun one for y'all today. And no, it's not this old 52 Ford right here. She's in for a complete rewire. Old flathead 8. Our plastic harness. We did a bumper to bumper, complete rewire on old Ned right here. Good old biscuit. Beautiful old truck. Got a little Jeep in. That's gonna be a 5.3 with a big old hair dryer on it. Got the single cab in for a tune. That one's in for a motor. That one's in for a turbo. Tahoe got a brand new motor in it. Got another cam swap there. Got the carbureted LS S10 right here. That's the first one we got in the shop. It was real fun tuning that one. Love using the old school carburetor on the LS. And what we got today, something special. This is GMC's version of the ElCamino, y'all. It's been down for a couple years. This customer brought it to a few different shops. One shop put the motor in it, old classic 454. Other shop put the headers on, and it seems like neither one of them can get it running. It's been down for a little while. As you can see, somebody's been sitting in a barn, it looks like. Just my little quick glance. She's got a bunch of issues. First thing I can see is somebody don't know how to stab a distributor. Next thing, pretty obvious. They got the choke set so that the electric choke is working, but it's not plugged in, B. No bueno, it don't work like that. And that's the obvious messes. Try to clean all that up on them. See if we can't get it running again. So that's gonna be the adventure for today. See if we can make this old 454 come back alive. Man, I can't wait. I think first thing we're gonna do, pour carburetor. I'm gonna have to pull it off, soak it up a little bit, clean it up, change some of these hoses. God knows when gasoline passes through this poor filter. And if you can tell how nasty that filter is, that's unleaded gas. That's what 87 does to your fuel system. So stop running that shit in your fucking hot rods. I'm sure the bowls and the carburetor looked exactly the same as that. So we're gonna clean that up. Maybe pull the valve covers, check the valves, and see if we can't get her fired up. All right, y'all. Hang on, here we go. All right. Let's start. Yeah, yucky. Like she has some critters living in there. It looks like from the looks of this engine, it has some miles on it, so wherever it was in, it was being used. It has the classic 454 all leaks. From the belt, from that big serpentine belt right there, that big groove belt, that tells me that motor is late 80s, early 90s. Maybe one of the last of the Gen 4 54s. But it's a good motor. We're gonna get it all kind of degreased, denasted. Jump in here with a water hose in a minute, and then change over to some super clean. Try to get all this nastiness out of the way before we start having to work on this thing. Can't stand working on nothing fucking nasty. Can't stand that. If you're gonna bring something to your mechanic, please clean that shit. That dude don't want to work on that. Me, on the other hand, you can bring it over here dirty. I'm okay with it. But I am gonna clean the shit out before I even touch it. That's what we do. It's got to be clean. This customer was nice enough to go get that old biscuit detailed before he even brought it over here. So it's gonna be fun once we get the inside cleaned up. And he even said if I get it fired up, I can go ahead and melt these tires off of it. He's got some new ones coming. So I didn't need the motivation, but I sure appreciate it. All right, y'all, we're gonna let this soak in a minute. Jump in here with the water hose. See if we can't make it worse. All right, coming out pretty decent. About halfway where I want it to be. Went ahead and simple green the whole thing like 3 times. Hit it with the water hose. I really like using that simple green. It's biodegradable. Also like super clean. Same reason. Cleans real well. Doesn't leave an oil residue on your parts, so you don't have that shit everywhere. All right, we went ahead and changed out the PCV valve and the breather. These were on opposite sides, which made absolutely no sense. You had the PCV right here and a vacuum line running all the way across the motor to here, which made no sense. And then you pouring all in the motor in the back. So it just made sense to move that around. Later on, I'm gonna try to go ahead and take this brake booster vacuum port and come off the intake in the back. Be a lot better to clean that up. I guess now it's time to go ahead and put my bumper switch on it, on the starter, so I can sit right here and turn it over by myself. We're gonna pull that distributor out, and as we get it out, I'm gonna give you all a lesson on how to style the distributor in a Chevy, because evidently nobody knows. All right, y'all hang on. Now we're gonna install a little bumper switch, little homemade switch. It's gonna go on the S on the solenoid and on the positive on the starter. And when I hit that, it ought to spin the motor. We hook that up so as I'm pulling the distributor, stabbing the distributor, setting the valves, I can sit right here and turn the engine by myself. All right, let's get them in there. I don't know if y'all can see or not. I'm explaining to y'all why I hate aftermarket chrome brackets. See that son bitch rubbing right there? And that bolt is to the end of that adjustment, so there is no play. You gotta actually take this old Chinese bracket off and grind it so the alternator fits and won't rub. Well, that's another thing we have to do even before we even start firing it up. Nasty. All right, we got our distributor back in, got our wires run. Had to make us 2 or 3. There's some burnt ones. Got our carburetor kitted. Got us a new fuel line on. Went ahead and did away with the nasty little electric pump that was in the wrong spot. Added a manual fuel pump to it. Got her pumping fuel out of a can because I don't trust that tank. Went ahead and changed the water outlet, but you got to be aware of sometimes when you change these motors, pull them out of a truck, put them in a car, or vice versa, is the water outlet. This big truck water outlet was on this little car, and basically what it was doing, it put the hose way up here, making a P-trap. You never would have got water in out of that. It'd have been a bunch of shit. Had to create a bunch of pressure before it actually worked. So went ahead and swapped that out. We got it to fire up. It's loud as hell because, you know, open headers. Runs good, doesn't smoke, doesn't knock. Definitely needs some valve adjustment. So we got ahead and got our okay from our client. We're gonna pull that alternator bracket off, but it's a turnbuckle style. Repaint all this, change the belts, pull the headers back off, polish them up, pull the intake off, polish it up, paint everything back here, get rid of the aluminum foil, and make some kind of sense with all this wiring. We're gonna do away with this pretend alternator wire right here, put us a block right here and rewire starter, alternator, battery, get some power going, clean all this up. So here we go. Got it all taken down, got the intake off. Old engine looks good. Definitely gotta adjust some valves. Pulled all this old wire loom off. Old nasty corrugated crap. Show y'all why I always like to pull that off. See that? See all the cut wires? They go everywhere. A lot of that shit still got power. And the bud splices. Yo, would not believe how people hide bud splices in wire loom. You know, this shit right here decays. They leave it open. The ends are open for moisture to get in. Corrodes the connection. All of a sudden, nothing works. You see the 3 starter wires right here? Some couillon done already bud splices that right there. See the corrosion? See that? It's all fixing to break. All that shit gets hot. Puts a bind on the starter. Doesn't give you the volts you need. So we're gonna address all that. Get rid of that nastiness. Get our intake polished up. Put that back on. Readjust our valves. And start painting all right here next. I tell y'all, this is why I like to get these old things started up and get it running and check everything before I start taking it apart. Couldn't figure out why the lights didn't work on them. Headlights didn't work. Pulled the battery up and had a mountain of caca underneath it. Bud splice after bud splice. No grounds, 0 grounds. Yep, that could definitely be an issue. Looks like we're gonna be wiring some headlights too. Here we go. All right, now we're showing all this love to the engine compartment, massaging our old 454, rewiring everything. We got to make sure that we address our fuel system too. These old cars, after 37, 38 years or so, these old sending units gonna want to give out. This one, the float was actually working, but the sock deteriorated off the end of it. There's usually a sock filter. It goes right there. It's gone. Another good reason to drop that tank, besides cleaning it out, is change all these rubber lines. After almost 4 decades of being under these vehicles and passing God knows what kind of fuel through it, these lines deteriorate real bad. So it's a real good idea to change everything rubber on these old cars if you get a chance to. Now we've already got our new sending unit in. We're gonna put our tank back up, get all our lines done and flushed up, get everything going good to the front, jump back in our engine compartment. Got our fuel system done. We'll be getting back to them lights soon. You guys have seen the before, you've seen the during. Now it's time to show all the after. There you go. That's where we at. Got our new power run. Everything loomed up. Battery. Got our trans lines hooked up. New grounds. Got our headers wrapped. Titanium wrap. I love that stuff. Still waiting on some header gaskets to finish bumping that up. Got our distributor stabbed. New valve covers on. Valve set. New 160 amp alternator. Turnbuckle. New belts. New passover hose. All new wiring. Entire engine bays all rewired with the correct color code. All the vacuum lines retransplanted in the back. New air breather cover. I love the wrap. Love wrapping headers. Everything's cleaned up, painted. New relays for the fans. Got that all running right, correct, ready to go. Just about done with it. Now it's time to move on to the interior. Put a new steering column in it, and then maybe address the front end. 36 years of bouncing around on Louisiana roads, I'm sure it's not done well for the suspension on this old biscuit. I think we're gonna wrap this video up right here. This has been a fun one, y'all. I love taking those old barn finds and making them look like this. Thank y'all. Stick around. There's gonna be some more of this coming up. Later. Well, those header gaskets came in, and our customer said I can't end that video without giving y'all a little show. We're gonna fucking see what she's about right here. Got our new steering column in.